Although, like, I mean, Corey he does like fantasy, so I don't know. Maybe it's a troll thing. Oh, whoops.
Getting excited about Trollhunter?
I'm so excited about Trollhunter.
I'm leaving that in. No.
That's fine.
But yeah,
I'm not going to tell you what just happened. You can all wonder about it.
I'm happy they haven't remade it, too, because I think what makes it work are the in-jokes about the Norwegian culture and I was reading about the Polish people coming to Norway and doing a lot of work, and I was reading just about the bears. A bear came down from Russia, not this kind of bear, and just the power lines that they're building. There are things, and also there's a lot of there's predators in Norway, and they eat sheep, cow, whatever is out there, but there's so many strict land rules that you can't touch them. So he used a lot of what's going on in Norway to make this. And I don't wherever country you make this in, you can't just, I guess, you can't really do the same thing, can you? I think it would lose that organic vibe, that very knowledgeable vibe. Like, it would be, I don't want a remake of this movie. Do you?
No, I don't. I would love a sequel. Like he talked about maybe like doing a sequel because did you also know that there was a lot of trolls that actually got cut? Like, because he basically said, like, they've got their troll lore and stuff, but he tried to make like his own thing. So he looked at like original artwork from guys that like did troll stuff in I don't know what century. And but he really tried to like make his own stuff. And for instance, he cut a troll, one of the trolls that didn't make the movie, but I am here for the sequel, is the sea troll. That's got like a mouth with tons of like teeth. So it's like body of a human, mouth of a shark, and it's a sea troll. I mean, I want that sequel. I do want that sequel.
I need that movie. Oh my gosh, a sea troll.
A sea troll in the fjords. Like, I mean...
Wow.
Holy. Yeah.
Wait,
like,
is it in the Blu-ray?
There's apparently a lot of trolls that got... No, it got cut. Like, it didn't... It was like, in the conceptual phase when they were, like, coming up with, like, okay, what trolls are we going to do and what? They had, like, a bunch of them. But yeah, they couldn't use everyone, all the trolls in the movie. But he was like initially with interviews, like maybe we can leave them for the sequel. And I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah.
I am here for Sea Troll sequel.
I mean, just more people visiting, more like deforestation. It would, but the best part about Trollhunter is just the learning, right? And going along with the ride. And then it ends beautifully with the Jotun just... I felt so bad for that thing, just getting rabies and then pushing everything out. And you know what's kind of wild is, and I like what Hans tells the story about how he had to murder all the trolls, like women, babies that couldn't even move. I mean, it's heartbreaking. But I guess on this mission, though, these things all had rabies, and I guess they did become dangerous. So you're not really hating him for doing what he's doing, but even though he has murdered innocent trolls, maybe he wanted to do it and not other people. But I don't know, it's an interesting line where he talks about how that road basically killed off tons of trolls and he had to go murder them. But then at the end of Jotun, you feel terrible for it, but it kind of has to get put out of its misery. I mean, it looks in pain. It has rabies, huge case of rabies. So
exactly, it's dying. It's standing on top of that hill. Don't you also just love that shot where Hans looks so tiny and small, and this like king troll is standing on the hill dying? Oh, I love that end shot before like he gives him the coup de grace. It's beautiful. But yeah, like there's a lot of heartfelt stuff, and I think though, Hans, you could see like he doesn't enjoy what he's doing. He does what needs to be done, you know? But like, yeah, even when he talks about the massacre and like he wouldn't have said like pregnant trolls and babies if, you know, it didn't like, you know, he's not a psychopath. But also he realizes that, yeah, like there are better ways to do all of this. Because where did the trolls get rabies to begin with? That's the other thing. Like, did they cross territories and come into the human side and got rabies from the bloody humans, you know? Like, again, it all comes back to how we, like, take care of the environments and everything.
What
Try to
happens if people
put
find out?
boundaries.
What do you think? What happens if people find out about trolls?
Well, it depends on what you mean by how, because what I also love about the movie is throughout you've got these little things of 2 people killed by a bear, like, and all of, like they keep on covering it up, and yeah, I guess like that's the thing. You can't do a remake of Trollhunter now.
No.
Today you can't, with all the conspiracy theories and people believing strange things. Yeah, I think I don't know how you would do it. I don't know if it would translate into today. It would be wild. Maybe it's possible, I guess, but I don't know.
Would people want all the trolls dead? Would they go trophy hunt trolls?
Oh, definitely.
It's man, and
selfie.
They just eat rocks. Oh yeah, God. He's like, it's not hard to live because they just eat rocks, and then they throw rocks at each other. I just love the mythology of this, the different types of trolls, the different. I don't know. It's done well, and I also like there's a decent amount of troll action. I would say for the budget, which is roughly around 3.5 million. I think they don't skimp on the trolls, and that's why I love Crawl too, because there's so many alligators in that movie. It's beautiful, but I don't. And he said he didn't want to go the Jaws route because he said I wanted to show it a lot. Do you think there's just? I think there's just enough. Did he need more trolls in this? Less trolls? What do you think?
I mean, I wouldn't say no to more trolls, but no, I loved it. I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's my favorite movies. I want to see dinosaurs, Jurassic Park. I want to see sharks, Deep Blue Sea. I want to see alligators, freaking Crawl. I want to see trolls, Trollhunter. Like it's, show me the monsters. Like, and I think, that was, I mean, like you say, 3.5. I think I read they only spent like $1 million on the trolls, all the CGI stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. I really, really digged it. I think the only time I was like, was when they were in the cave and the trolls came, but just under the green lights. As soon as they started running out and we went back to like normal like night lights, those trolls looked amazing. That like, the running, the classic running found footage stuff. I thought it looked so cool. I digged it.
They filmed them in such smart ways too. There's a VFX breakdown on YouTube that I watched about all the layers, and I really dig how they they just shot it in a wide open space, and then they added like CGI branches in front of the camera to make it look like they were hiding, to make it look like easier. And at the end with the Jotun, they filmed such wide open areas, it probably made it easier for. I just think the way they handled the VFX was so smart on these trolls. Yeah. And I guess do you think probably the night vision made it cheaper to make those trolls just because it's dark?
But also, I mean, I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, here we go, night vision. But you get so used to it so quickly because they use it sparingly enough. It's not a lot. No, it didn't really bother, It was like I had an immediate reaction, but then I kind of forgot about it because like worked. I don't know. It just worked.
And they never leaned on it too heavily. It was part of, I guess it helped tell the story. I mean, they're going into a cave troll, so you got to go into a cave. Like you have to, and they did. And then I guess they used the night vision, which they played off earlier too, which I dug. What a good movie. And I like the kids too, because I believe college kids would go do something stupid like this. What do you think? Definitely.
I would have. I mean, I maybe would still do that, but yeah, that's just me. I dig it. Yeah, it makes sense. Like there's a sense of wonder almost, like, and still like a healthy skepticism, because I think it's like when you're a kid, you grow up and you hear about trolls and stuff. It's like when you hear about Santa, but then you get older and it's like, okay, no, Santa's just a story. Ooh, I hope there's no kids listening to this. Mark, how many kids listen to this?
We just wrecked. Oh gosh, all my 5-year-olds. I'm so sorry.
Sweet dreams, kids.
Yeah.
And
there's no Easter bunny.
So you grow up and you're like, okay, cool, no, Santa does it. But then imagine you actually like then see Santa, like, or have a whiff of there might be. You'll have like that, healthy skepticism about it. And I think the kids had like, it was like, is this guy's weird. This guy's a bit crazy. Like that kind of vibe. And then, but I loved when they first saw the troll. They were so excited, like little kids. Like they're real. We just saw a troll. I mean, it was actually very sad. I felt a bit gutted when was this a Tussalad?
Yep.
At the beginning, the three-headed troll, we need to into stone. I was like, oh, shame. And they were like, trolls! Super excited.
In my head, I'm thinking that thing's 1,000 years old. Well, it's old because it turned to stone. So it wasn't young. Thing. Yeah, it wasn't young like the Raggle font under the bridge. Exactly. So.
Ooh, how good was that?
Oh, I just love that. When Hans gets punched and just whapped against the thing, and he's so sore and grumpy, and he just has to keep doing his job, and then he don't touch the red button, and then he blows it up. It's just, I love how tired he is during it. There's nothing heroic about him, and there's nothing pretty about what Hans does, which I love.
No.
He just lumbers around and gets it done. He's not a swarthy lead. I dig how kind of ugly that fight was against the bridge troll, and that thing was built too. That thing was
yes.
And he ate the poor. I like that two of the goats lived. That made me happy. Remember the adorable goat? Remember that adorable goat? I am. The little goat was running towards him like, bah. I was like, oh, save it. And then I did like that the troll didn't like the goat screaming, so it just killed it. Like it just finished it off fast and then bit into it. It showed mercy.
Yeah. Like, almost annoyed and just like get it over with. But yeah, like with Hans, I mean, he's like working class hero through and through. But when he gets slammed on that bridge, every time, like it takes my breath away a bit. It's like amazing. But then with the troll, like you talk about how buff that thing is. I read Wiverdal was like, they looked at like when they were drafting the trolls and like, okay, how are we gonna like design them and make them, what are they gonna look like? They actually looked at like bodybuilders, but elderly bodybuilders. So people with like muscles, but that's like a bit older, so they're a bit starting to like hunch forward. I think it's such a funny reference. You know, you wouldn't think like, oh yeah, this is what inspired the trolls from Trollhunters, like old bodybuilders. But then you look at it and you're like, that makes total sense.
Yeah, I love that too. That's so creative, isn't it? And the Jotun, especially at the end, just looks like an old, muscular creature.
Yeah.
Must eat a lot
that one was the saddest. That one was the saddest.
Because it's ancient to get that big.
Exactly.
You know what you can agree with me or not, but Guillermo del Toro, I listen, I buy his Blu-rays, I listen to all his commentaries, I've written about his movies, I praise his movies, but with his films, he hits you over the head with his themes. There's absolutely nothing subtle with it.
Yeah.
But I think this movie does it much subtler, more subtle, I would say.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that so much more. It doesn't beat you over the head at all with, you should feel bad for these trolls, and you do. And you think he's hunting down these evil trolls, but he's not. Like there's a few comments about, he had to go kill him, and I mean, it's there, but I just don't like that. I like that they don't beat you over the head with the deforestation and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what you think, if you appreciate that more.
Absolutely. I think for me, I also don't like it when any storyteller, like slaps me through the face with a point or a theme or whatever. I feel like, don't tell me what I should feel. You can lead me towards it, sure, but let me get there by myself, Like, I don't need someone to tell me how to feel, and I think that's definitely what makes this movie so good, because it's got so many layers. It's one of those movies where afterwards you're like, after you've watched it the first time, you're like, whoa, that was a cool monster movie. This was different. This was fun, like Charles versus dinosaurs, because I was totally like, ooh, imagine Charles versus dinosaurs. Whoa. I can totally see that. But then, like, it sits with you, and you start remembering jokes and little lines, and then you watch it again, and you pick up on, like, some of the, like, subtle more that you could, because for us, again, international folk, we can pick up on some of the like in jokes that Norway has in there and stuff, and like stuff that's really home to them as well. So then it becomes interesting, and then you start researching about it, and even just the trolls.